It is once again past midnight for Tuesday, June 24th. I realized that I definitely said January a couple of times in June. Definitely did that. Well, I am in a hotel room right now. I am at my cousin's graduation, and this is great because I am alone in a hotel room, and I feel very, very at ease and comfortable. I am interacting with people. Well, not interacting. I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in a really long time. Cousin's graduating, which is great. His younger brother I'm hanging out with a little bit because he's dope. He also has a test tomorrow, which kind of sucks, but whatever. There are some weird things about high school graduation versus boarding school graduation that I noticed. I talked about it a little bit some time ago, but like first off, it's boarding school is a lot more formal. I don't know if that's very that shows anything about anybody, but I wore, instead of a gown and a cap and whatever you want underneath, and all that. Parents had to wear jacket and tie. I had to wear jacket, tie, and white pants, specifically white pants, and the women all wore white dresses. And that was the tradition going as far back as however this boarding school goes back. And so it was much more formal. It was weird like that. Like, I was fine with it because I felt bonita, as my friend would say. But another big thing is the speeches. There was less, the speeches were less. That also may be a fact of because this school has a larger class size than my boarding school had. So when they would graduate, the majority of the time, that was happening was just them going up and getting their diplomas and walking across the aisle. Mine was significantly more with the speaking elements, maybe because it was a little bit more. It was a much more academic school, academic focused. So there was a lot more emphasis on, oh yeah, you graduated, you made it through this school. So they wanted to talk about things. It was also talk about, we've had significantly more shared experiences because we lived together for all that time. So having our class president talk about it was very important. And then the guest speaker was a big deal because it talked a lot about going to the workforce and the college after college going to the workforce, because we are expected as students who graduated from this prominent boarding school to be a little bit more involved in society at a quote-unquote higher level, whether that be in a bank or lawyers. I don't like saying that we're smarter, but there's a reason you send kids to a boarding school that is constantly being ranked one of the top high schools in the country and being widely considered one of the best boarding schools in the country. And so it's a much bigger deal graduating, but also the big thing that I noticed was the total vibe of it. Graduating from a normal high school kind of was just, oh my God, thank God we're done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I get to go party. When we graduated from boarding school, it was a feeling of, I'm glad we're done with school, but I'm so sad. I'm missing everybody. I won't be able to see them next year. The people I lived with, I was in a dorm with 3 of my best friends, in the rooms next to me. And when we graduated, we're just well, we'll see each other in the summer, I guess. Maybe on vacations, but we hung out we lived together for an entire year and a half. If you include the end, not even 2 years. We lived together for 2 years. We know how each other works. We did homework in each other's rooms. We watched movies together. We know how each other's work. We created a significantly closer bond than a lot of people do within high school because we were together all the time. We lived together. We played together. We worked out together. We did everything together. And that's what a lot of people feel, especially in this boarding school, where it's a very tight-knit community. And teachers, we hung out with teachers. We did a lot more things than a high school would get. So it's a different vibe in graduation. It's like that feeling in college. You were living with people, but because we were still in high school, we had some more restrictions. Like we had a curfew. We couldn't be out of the room until we couldn't be out of the dorm at 10 o'clock. And so that was like the thing for us. And so because of that, we hung out more. And it's different with college where there's no restrictions and where it's a little bit harder, I guess, to find a specific group of people. Like at college now, I'm friends with the hockey team, like the club hockey team, but I'm not friends with the people in my hall. Like every so often, maybe once a week, we would have a meal with the faculty on our dorm faculty, and we would have a meal together, just like a snack at the end of the right in as check-in, and we would eat together, eat people with our room. We would have conversations, we would hang out. So it fosters a bigger sense of community. So that leaving, when you leave, it hits a little bit harder. No, it doesn't hit a little bit. It hit a lot harder for a lot of people because, sure, you're going to stay friends forever. Like, these are probably my best friends that we hang out all the time. We play video games all the time. But that's only on my vacations or in the summer. And video games are just video games. But you don't see them as much as you normally did. You grew up together. You've figured out who you are together. You've learned together. You've become better people together. And so now that you're graduated, you're all gone. You're not seeing them anymore. And it hits hard. And it's difficult for a lot of people. So that graduating and then the subsequent leaving the school for the last time is a big deal for a lot of people. So it's a lot more, I wouldn't say sad, it's like happy sad, a lot more happy sad than a normal graduation was. But I guess the parties are still the same. Like we went house hopping. The difference is that we stayed out and went to different people's houses around like the states, and just going around. Well, if you're in high school, you just kind of house hop or go to like a designated, this is the party within your neighborhood, and then you just go home and you see each other tomorrow. But like I told my friends that when we graduated that it doesn't feel real yet, so it hasn't hit me. But then when I saw them in the summer, we went on a really fun trip, and when we all left from that trip, I told them, like, it's hitting now. Like, now is the time where I'm like, I'm not going to see you again for at least 3 months after living with you for so long. So it's a pretty big deal graduating from boarding school, especially a boarding school of that caliber. And it's not saying that graduating from high school is not a big deal, but it's a different feeling and different experience. And I mean, my personal opinion is that if I have kids, I will tell them to go to the boarding school that I went to. I will know I will be able to financially be able to do that because I won't be having children in this economy until I know I'm financially stable to support them. But that was the best experience of my life so far. College is great, but nothing could compare to that boarding school right now. Maybe now, after I'm not solely focused on work, it'll be a little bit different. But that was some of the best moments and some of the best memories I've had in a very, very long time. So I would tell them, go to that boarding school, have a time, because that's something you cannot experience. And maybe you'll play better sports there. No, you play better sports, depending on where you're from. Like, I played in the best hockey league in the country, maybe outside of like Michigan or Minnesota. But I played in one of the best high school hockey leagues in the country. You play in some of the best lacrosse leagues in the country. Like, it's sports are a different caliber, but then academics are a different caliber. You learn to be a more self-sufficient person. You are prepared for college. I learned so much more how to write essays and be articulate and to speak and form ideas more than any other high school student I've ever met. So it's a pretty big opportunity if you get one, but it will change your life. And that's what makes the graduation a lot different. This graduation is a sigh of relief, while boarding school graduation was a hug goodbye, if you catch what I'm saying. So I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wake up a little bit early. I'm going to play golf with the families. Everybody's around, with the cousins as well. We'll have a little graduation party, and then I'm back home tomorrow afternoon. Do a little work. Friday, don't know what's happening. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens then.